Hello, this is C from Curio & Co. Today I thought we would touch on for who we draw and why. A few notes before I get started. The ASMR audio will be available in the British English track as soon as the option for me to upload it will become available. Second thing I should mention is these drawings that you are seeing me draw in this video are part of a series of drawings that I've been doing for our studio. Hopefully you will be able to get a glimpse of my creative process, and it will be helpful to your creative journey. Now let's get back to the subject of today. Who do we draw for and why? It might sound silly, but sometimes you need to remind yourself that you're drawing because you want to be drawing. A lot of the times we find ourselves forced in the act of drawing, and that's going to restrict us from performing at the best that we can. Whether you are in a drawing class and you're tied to a specific schedule and you need to perform for somebody who's watching you over your shoulders, you just always constantly need to remind yourself that you're doing it because you want to be doing it, and that's going to allow you to draw from a place of joy, which is going to help you produce the best drawing that you can produce at that moment. Now, let's dive in a little bit more on the subject by simply saying that there is the basic four reasons why you would draw. One is because a client is asking you to draw something for them. Two, because you're an artist and this is your way of expressing yourself for an idea. Three would be for practicing. You are improving your craft. And four, because somehow you find yourself in a situation where somebody is asking you to do a drawing for them, maybe a friend, or you put on a spot that you have to do a drawing. Now, if you're drawing for a client, it's important to understand that the client is paying you and you're doing it to pay rent. So you're going to get a financial income from this. So keep in mind that you're hired and you're executing somebody else's vision. So you're bringing your skills to the table. The client is hiring you for the take that you bring to the task. At the end of the day, you're a channel for the client's vision for the larger project, not specifically for the drawing, because you're bringing your vision to the drawing or your perception to the drawing, but the client has a much larger vision to the project that you might not be privy to. If you're doing it for an artistic intent, then it is because of your passion for the medium, the passion for the art of it. It's because you're fascinated with what actually physically comes out of the pencil while it's being dragged onto the paper. It's this magical moment that you're completely fascinated with. So there is more of a sense of purity of the process and discovery, and you're doing that because you have an artistic vision that you're trying to express through the process. Now, it's not to say that this cannot be married with the client's work. This goes back to the idea of being able to draw from a place of joy. If you're drawing for practice, obviously, it's to improve your craft. This is going to be supporting the artistic intention that you might have, as well as the intention for the client, in the sense that you're bringing the craft to both of those two opportunities. So you're improving yourself, you want to get better, is because you're interested in learning and expanding your tool set. In some cases, you might find yourself at a trade show where you're presenting your book, your artistic book that you just created, whether it is a comic book or a collection of drawings. And it might be required for you to do a drawing on the spot. Maybe a friend is asking you to draw something for them. Somehow you're put on the spot and you have to perform like I sometimes say, like a monkey in a cage. In these circumstances, it's exceptionally useful to remember the reasons why you're drawing and the reason why you find yourself in that specific moment. Because if you're there to promote a book of drawings that you made, and the idea is to sell the book so that you can make more drawings, then hopefully this chain of thoughts will allow you to start thinking, okay, it's okay for me to do this drawing, and you're going to be able to find that moment of joy or the place of joy so you can perform that drawing in a way that it's the best drawing that you can do at that moment, and you can move on to the next task. And I assure you that the moment that you do more and more of these unpleasant situation drawings, it's going to become more and more second nature, and you're going to find yourself being able to quote unquote perform under stress situations. This is an exceptionally good task to be able to have, because sometimes you might need to be able to draw for a client that is standing over your shoulder. You might need to be able to do corrections on the fly for a supervisor, as well as being able to do it simply to impress a friend, perhaps. But it comes with the mastery of the skill sets, and will constantly feed into the loop of the drawing process, and it's all going to be more and more invigorating once that you achieve a specific skill level. Drawing is also a meditative state. I'm sure you had the opportunity to see that sometimes you sit down and you draw, and some time has elapsed, and all of a sudden you're actually looking at the drawing and say, how did this drawing come out? And that is what I mean by meditative state, in the sense that you're completely absent from the process, and the drawing is physically coming out of the pencil without you almost being aware of doing. And that's what I would also call the creative process. The most important thing that you can do for yourself is being able to reach these moments of meditative state and allow the drawing to come out by itself, so that you're not imposing all these technical restrictions or pressure that is come from the outside. This is going to be a lot easier for you to achieve if you practice on a regular basis. This regular practice will allow you to tap into this moment of joy much, much faster. After all, if you are drawing, you're drawing because you want to be drawing and because you have a specific passion for the medium. Try to practice as much as you can so that you can then transfer this transitional moment at any point in time, whether it is for a client, whether it is for your art process, whether it is for practice, or whether it is for a moment where you find yourself being put on the spot to perform. This might be a cliche, and you probably heard it many times, but it is 100% true. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Keep that in mind every time you're sitting down at the drawing table, so that you know the reasons why you're sitting there and why you're holding the pencil in your hand. Now, it's going to make a big difference in the drawing that you're going to be making, and it's going to be bringing you a lot of joy, and you will know that you're going to be doing a better drawing. I'll leave you with a bit of a summary and some last points for the day. Remember that you want to be drawing if you're sitting at the drawing table. You have a pencil in your hand. That means that you want to be drawing. If you want to be drawing, you're going to be doing a much better drawing because your heart is in it, and it is going to come from a place of joy. You're going to be able to perform better and be more satisfied with the drawing that you're doing at the end of the day. Unfortunately, at some point in time, you're going to find yourself having to face either a drawing or a situation where you're going to have to perform. That is going to be outside of your control, but if you can tap into the reason why you're doing the task, hence the drawing, you're going to be able to push through and get to the other side with much better ease than if you're fighting it. Remember what the end goal is, why you're there, and it's going to push you through. It's going to allow you to get through these hard moments. As an aside, I should also mention that saying no is always an option. Whether you find yourself drawing for a client, whether it is doing it for a friend, or whether you're doing it for somebody else that puts you in a hard situation, or maybe you find yourself practicing and the situation is just not working for you. You can say no, and it's an option for you to say no, but be aware of the consequences. So be conscious and use the no adequately, but be aware that it is an option. Many times as artists, we find ourselves acquiescing to somebody else's request when that is not suitable for our end hopes and goals and wishes. So be true to yourself and be honest, not just with yourself, but also with the people around you. Just draw from a place of joy, and that will radiate through the work that you're doing, and the people around you will start connecting with you with much better ease, and you're going to find yourself being happier, and the people around you will be happier through the drawing process, and you're going to find yourself drawing for them as much as for you, and it's going to be for a much better experience for everybody. I hope these tips will be useful for your creative journey. Let me know in the comments below. And in the meantime, stay curious, keep learning, and stay creative.